Welcome to the In Shape Fitness Show. I'm Kim Watkins, and this week's workout is called Summer Body Blast. With the long July 4th holiday right around the corner, the summer is in full swing. And even though you're going to be taking some vacation time, you're probably going to be relaxing a little bit, maybe, kind of scaling back on those training sessions and perhaps your gym visits, you can still do 20-minute workouts without equipment in your floor, in the living room, at your home, or on vacation, in a hotel room, even on the beach. If you take the iPad or your iPod, rather, out with your Spreaker application or your iTunes application, this workout goes with you absolutely anywhere. You don't need any equipment, you don't need shoes, and it's totally intense. So let's warm up. We're going to warm up with a jog in place, add in a shoulder press in the first couple of seconds. So go ahead and make sure your back is really, really straight. Get your shoulders back, lift your chest with your breath, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, engage your tummy muscles, tuck in your tailbone. Now start jogging. 30 seconds. Time starts now. Add a shoulder press, very controlled, pressing up with your hands, straight up, straightening your arms, then pulling down, taking advantage of that negative resistance, which helps add that extra little metabolic boost that you want. Really, really want to make this a super efficient workout, so we're going to go very quickly between each of the moves. There are 20 moves for 30 seconds each. With all the instruction and a couple of position changes, it will take about 20 minutes. All right, so let's take it into a jumping jack now. Remember to keep that back super straight. You want to land lightly on the balls of your feet. You want a slight bend in your knee, and you want to control your arm swing all the way up, touching your hands up at the top. Time starts now for 30 seconds. Very nice. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and control your movement. Really focus on preventing momentum or gravity, from taking over and doing too much of your work today. Obviously, gravity is not going to help in a jumping jack, but with things like squats, which we'll be doing, and push-ups, which we'll be doing, all those types of things where you're going to be confronting gravity as a force, you want to be in control. Okay, now take it up to a power jack, which means you might not touch up at the top anymore. You're going to bend your elbows a little bit more, but I want you to double time that speed for 30 more seconds. Keep it going. Want that heart rate up. And then we're going to slow it down with some strength moves, some squats, and some lunges before we head down to the floor for a lot of really fun stuff on the floor. All right. You do not have to do burpees today. So if you're thinking, maybe I'll turn this workout off because it's going to be too hard. I know she's going to blast me with these burpees or mountain climbers or whatever. We're actually not doing those. So, stick with it. We're 3 minutes in. And you've got 5 seconds with those jacks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now plant your feet hip width or shoulder width apart and turn your toes so that your pinky toes and heels are in line. You really want to make sure your toes don't turn out. Now you want to shift all of your weight to your heels. You're going to sit down as you inhale into an imaginary chair. As you lift up, you want to pause at the bottom, by the way, and then press your heels into the floor, contract your glutes, and exhale on your way up. Time starts now. This is a standard squat. If you don't know how to do a perfect squat by now, really focus on this being a learning experience for you and we'll take a couple of extra seconds to do this because the squat is an amazing move. It's a strength move. And when you move really slowly with complete control, that power you get from contracting your glutes and using your entire lower core to squat down and lift up, not just using your quads. People think squats are a quad move. If you work it right and you press into the floor with the heels, contract your glutes, you're doing a lot more than working your quads. Okay, now I want you to make it a little more aerobic by lowering down, and as you lift up, you're going to do a little explosive pop up off the floor with both feet into a little jump, and then don't stop. Go right back down into the next squat. That squat with a jump, it's the next move. Your 30 seconds starts now. Very nice. So we're taking the perfection of your squat. We're adding that aerobic blast at the top to give you that, extra power punch that you need to keep your heart rate up and make this a really, again, super efficient workout. We're right at 5 minutes. You've got about 15 more seconds with this squat and a jump move, and then we'll switch it up again. Ready? 5, 4, push it out. Last one. Very good. Okay. Now we're going to do some lunges. So we're going to do 3 kinds of lunges. So take a deep breath, take a couple deep breaths, realign your posture. Make sure that your chest is open, your shoulders are back right underneath those ears of yours, and you're going to put your hands on your hips. The first lunge is simply a alternating forward lunge. So take a big step with your right foot. Bend both knees to 90 degrees. And then push back with that right foot and start over with the left foot. We're alternating with each lunge. You want to make sure you don't collapse at your waist, so keep those tummy muscles engaged. Keep your chest high. The back is straight. Don't let your ankles turn in or your toes turn out. With a lunge, since the back of your leg is moving, you're more likely to allow that ankle to sort of turn in on the motion, which quite frankly, I'll say this several times probably in today's workout, that gives your quad the go-ahead to engage and do a lot of the work. But you don't want to do that with a perfect lunge. You work your hamstrings. You've got 3 seconds, by the way. You work your hips, and of course you work your butt muscles. All right, now we're going to make it a curtsy lunge. Add a little bit of diagonal motion in there to engage the inside part of your leg and a little bit of the outside part of your leg as well. Okay, so that just means with the right foot, you're going to step forward and to the left, bending both knees again, and then pushing back and standing up straight, and then alternating, of course, with the left foot. It goes forward and to the right, curtsying. You can pretend you're curtsying without bending forward, though. Again, you want to keep your back straight. Your time is going. Very nice. If this is not aerobically sufficient for you and you're looking to make this a little bit harder, do a jumping jack between each of the lunges. It's a really good way to sort of like boost the output in terms of some of the slower lunges. But lunges are really so good for you. I am not a fan of adding weights to your hands to carry while you do lunges, though if you have a go band or a stability ball or instability ball, a rubber ball, you can hold on to a ball and squeeze it, or with the go band, expand your hands so that you feel the resistance on the outside. Okay. Last one. And now let's do a lateral lunge. So a lateral lunge is where you're going to take a big step out with your right leg. Keep your feet straight. You want your toes still perfectly straight with both legs. Now you're going to bend the left knee only. The right leg is straight, sitting back and down, kind of like a squat into an imaginary chair. So you want to shift your weight to your heel in the left foot. And then as you're standing up, you bring that right leg in and then extend the left leg straight out, bending the right knee in the process. Very good. Okay, so let's keep that up for 30 seconds now. This is the last official move on your feet completely. We're going to do a little transition, sort of multi-directional move in a second, and then we'll be on the floor for the rest of the workout. You're doing fabulous. We're coming up on 9 minutes, almost halfway through the workout. Keep those lateral lunges going for another 8 seconds. Keep breathing. Hopefully this is something you're doing in preparation for an amazing day on the beach or with your family, or even if you are still working, which I am still working through the week this week. For the holiday, I'll be working several of the days before we take off for vacation. Okay, now we're going to do a walk-out push-up. That means you're standing up real tall. You're going to squat down, put your hands on the floor. Go ahead and give this first one a try before we start the clock. Hands on the floor beside your feet. Try to get your butt as low as it possibly can be. Using only your hands in movement. Walk out to push-up position. Do one push-up. Then walk your hands back. And then contract your glutes, lifting your torso all the way back to a standing position. Full standing position. None of that hunched over business, okay? Let's start the clock for 30 seconds. This is your walk out push-up. Love these. gives you a little bit of strength work in terms of your shoulders, obviously, and your biceps and your back. It engages your tummy muscles when you're in the plank, and the push-up sort of motion. And because you're moving in multiple dimensions, you're switching directions in terms of your body's movement up and down, your heart rate is up, and you're getting that aerobic business in. Okay, finish the one that you're on, and then get yourself back into push-up position, because now we're going to do push-ups for 30 seconds. Yeah, no, I'm tough sometimes. Okay, but that's okay. You can do the push-ups on your knees. Perfectly legitimate push-ups are done on knees. So please don't think that you have to do these on your toes. 30 seconds is a decent amount of time for push-ups. So you want to take your time. You want your hands to be wide enough to engage your chest muscles, and you want to make sure they're vertically in line with your shoulders. You also, if you're on your knees, you want to make sure that your thigh makes a 45-degree angle with the floor. Okay? And go ahead and get started by bending those elbows, lowering your body, inhaling on the way, and then push up by exhaling and contracting your bicep, or flexing your bicep on the way down and then extending your bicep on the way back up. One thing I want to make sure you note is that when you have your hands on the floor in any of the moves we're going to be doing here with your hands on the floor, make sure that you don't just absorb body weight with the heel of your hand. Use the whole hand, the top part of your palm as well as your fingers, so that you don't develop wrist problems. Lots and lots and lots of body weight exercise aficionados neglect to mention that fact. You're almost finished, by the way. You finish up the push-up that you're on, and then take a break and lower down to your knees, or just lower your body all the way down. We're going to do a plank on your forearms, but I want to give you a couple seconds to take a couple of deep breaths. But for the next couple of moves, we're on our tummy, and then we have one more move where you're going to be using those hands in a tricep dip. And you just want to make sure whenever you do exercises with your hands on the floor, downward facing dog, push-ups, mountain climbers, all those things, that you use the entire hand. Your connection point with the floor is very important. Okay, now you're on your forearms with the elbows right underneath the shoulders, and make sure that you keep that butt down for the standard plank for 30 seconds. Go ahead and get started. Time starts now. Breathe deeply. If you need some harder components to a standard plank, contract your glutes. You can also dip your hips, alternating dip your hips in a corkscrew movement. You can invert your feet to rest on the tops of your feet. We call that a mermaid plank. That should give you a couple of ideas. And you've got 10 seconds more. Very good. Keep breathing. Push it out here. Squeeze. Last 3 seconds. And lower your body down to your tummy. Extend your arms forward like Superman flying. That's the next move. The Superman, working that lower back muscle. Tongue-tied as I am all of a sudden here. And you're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you lift your head and your chest and your arms, and straight legs. Don't bend the knees, but through your hips, lift your legs as well, contracting your lower back, pausing at the top, and lowering down slowly. Okay, let's start the 30 seconds. Take a deep breath each time. On the way down, you're inhaling. On the way up, you exhale. Very good. Don't worry about the number that you do. This is just about time. It is about your control, and it is about contracting that lower back muscle so that you can do more. You can just have a stronger back. You really want to focus a lot on your core, which is why so much of these exercises force core work. And the rest of the work that we're going to be doing is all about your core. In fact, the next thing you're going to do, which you can go ahead now and finish the one that you're on, turn over next and put your feet on the floor. Bend those knees. The feet are hip width apart. Once again, make sure your toes don't turn out. So the good rule of thumb is pinky toes and heels in line. Now lift your hips up. Your arms are down by your sides. This is a hip bridge. Time starts now. You are simply holding this position and breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth. Focus on your toes staying on your floor and really contracting your glutes and the back of your leg. Your hips are supporting your body weight here, but you want to even out your body weight as much as you can by pressing into the floor with those toes. You're halfway finished. We're going to do a slightly harder move where you're going to move one leg at a time for the next move. It's called a Swiss hip extension. It's coming up in 3 seconds. Okay, so stay where you are. Now lift your left leg up. So now your body weight's supported only by your right hip, the right leg. Now, very slowly, you're hinging at the hip level on your left leg. Tap the floor with your toes on your left foot, for 15 seconds. Time starts now. Good. You're doing great. Keep breathing. And 5, 4, 3. Good. Okay, switch sides. Now your left foot's on the floor. Put it right back in the same place. Don't let that toe turn out. And lift the right leg up. 15 seconds. Right at 16 minutes here as we finish up this last move lying down on the floor with your lower core. Now we're going to do tricep dips, and then we're going to do some crunches. All right, you've got 3 seconds more. And now sit all the way up for me. Put your hands on the floor beside your butt with your fingers facing forward. And again, sorry to sound like a broken record here, but totally focus on using the entire hand. That's so important. So lift your hips, butt, everything up into the air. You're in a tabletop now. And you're going to bend the elbows and press up. Ready? Go ahead and get started. Time starts now. As you inhale, you bend your elbows. Exhale as you lift back up and keep those toes on the floor. Super important. Once again, if you let your toes float up, which they're going to want to do, it's amazing how the body sort of reacts to certain things. And your toes want to come up because your quads can help then. And they don't mind. The quads are the biggest muscle you have, the biggest muscle group, and it is the most powerful in most cases with people. So they will take over. They are the bully of your body. Just focus on keeping the toes on the floor, and you will use the back of the leg in conjunction with the front of the leg. And just like that, you're done. Okay, now lie back down. Put your feet in the air with a 90-degree angle bend on your knees and your hands behind your head. Now take a deep breath in, squeeze your tummy muscles, draw your belly button in towards your spine, and lift your head and your chest and the top of your rib cage straight up through the sternum. Pretend that somebody is pulling on your sternum with a string. Very good. Your time is going. Almost finished. 4 moves after this. And we're right at 18 minutes, so we are so on the money in terms of our timing. We'll finish the exercise routine itself just over 20 minutes, and then you'll be free to go and continue on with your day. 5 more seconds with the bent knee crunch, then you're going to sit up and we're going to do a sculling crunch. Ready? Set. Sit on up for me now. This is the sculling crunch. My clients I see personally know that this is my favorite crunch because it works your hips really well. So bring those knees in. Your hands are on the floor now. Once again, beside your butt with your fingers forward. Bring the knees in, feet off the floor. Stretch the legs back out. Time starts now. Keep it going. We're going to blast through these last 3 moves together. Stretch the legs all the way out. You want no bend in the knee. When the legs are straightened, they are completely straight. Bring the knees in. Try to keep the knees close together. Keep breathing. You have 10 seconds more. Very good. Okay. Now, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lean back a little bit more. Put your feet on the floor in that nice bend. Now twist to the right. Twist to the left. Russian twist here. Time is going. Terrific. All right. Keep twisting. Keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. Move a little fast now that you have 1 minute left of this workout and you've got 5 more seconds of this Russian twist. Bang it out. Go as fast as you can. Right to left, And now lie back down on the floor one more time. Bring the soles of your feet together. Open your knees up wide, hands back behind your head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift up again. Butterfly crunch. And then we're going to do a couple of roll-ups just to calm you down a little bit. Squeeze those tummy muscles one more time at the end, and we'll do some hamstring stretching as well. Hamstrings are probably, aside from tightness in the back, probably the single most significant complaint, most frequent complaint I hear from clients is the tightness of their hamstrings, and of course tightness in the hips. So we're going to stretch you out on the floor in just a couple seconds here. Last butterfly crunch. Finish the one you're on now. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Stretch your arms over your head. This is a nice big stretch. The workout is basically finished. So if you were planning on 20 minutes and you have a timer and you're ready to go, get out of here if you can. Take a deep breath in. Draw in those tummy muscles. Lift all the way up. Hands swing around slowly, stretching towards your feet, and grab your shins or your toes depending on how flexible you are. And then slowly sit up straight again. Release your hands from your legs and roll back one vertebra at a time. Thank you so much for joining me for this workout. I am Kim Watkins from In Shape Fitness. I hope, as I said before, that this is the start of a day where you are on vacation. You're maybe at the beach. You're maybe, in a cottage somewhere near the water, or wherever you're doing your summertime this year. I hope you're having a great one. And I will see you again next week. Have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions about this workout, or you're interested in getting a quick reference of the workout so that you can go a little bit faster, go to inshape-fitness.com. Have a great day.